look at this problem. Again, remember the method. We're going to read it first. We're going to try to find out what's the problem asking, and then read it again. Shirley paid $900,000 for an 8-unit apartment building. The gross income is $800 per month, with expenses of $4,000 annually. What capitalization rate will Shirley make on her investment? So this looks like a cap rate problem, doesn't it? And this time we're looking for the cap rate, which means it has to give us the NOI and it has to give us the value of the property. So, does it give us a value? She paid $900,000 for it. You bet. So we can start filling in our circle here. Get that out pretty good there. Okay. So we've got a value here of $900,000. The question mark is on the cap rate. That's what we're looking for, is the cap rate. So that means it has to give us the NOI. Now let's page back and look at our schedule again. Gross scheduled income, again minus vacancy credit, gives us effective gross minus the operating expense to give us our NOI. So what are they going to give us here? They're going to give us the income is $800 per month per unit. Okay? So we're going to have to calculate that income. Then we're going to have to subtract our expenses to get to our NOI. Okay? So our income here is 8 units at $800 per month per unit. So our income has got to be $800 times 8 units times 12, right? Because we're always going to calculate this annually. It's like the annual interest in the interest rate problem. We're always going to work annually. So, grab my calculator on that. And that should be $76,800. Now it tells us that the expenses are $4,000 annually. So we don't have to do anything with the expenses except subtract them. So we subtract our expenses. You see that down on the bottom there? $72,800 then is going to be our NOI. And what's the rule of the circle? Anytime that you have 2 portions of the circle done, do the math. This time we've got $72,800 divided by 900,000. And that should give us 0.085 and then 333 as a repeating decimal. And remember that line over the last 3 means it's repeating. But they didn't ask for a decimal, they asked for a percentage, didn't they? The problem says this: what cap rate will Shirley make on her investment? Okay? So we've got to convert that to a percentage. So we're going to go 2 places to the right here, and we're going to say that that answer probably is going to be 8.5%. And again, you're going to have to look at the answers there and see what the authors did. If they did 8.53, 8.5. I doubt if they did 9. They probably did 1 decimal on it at least to make it a little bit easier for you. And so that's cap rate type problems. Well, let's see what's next on our list here. An investment problem. And again, we're going to read the problem, find out what it's asking. Mitch bought a house for $145,000. The house was later sold for $165,000. What is the rate of profit that Mitch made on this sale? So this time we're looking for a rate of profit. They're going to give us what it was bought and sold for, and we have to determine what percentage of profit did he make on this sale. Well, we can put that into a circle. And this is that one that looks like this. Where we've got the made D on top. We've got paid down here. And we've got our rate, of course, always over here. So what did we pay for this property? Paid $145,000, sold it for $165,000. So we paid $145,000, and we sold it for $165,000. Notice this is one of those exceptions where the top number is larger than the bottom one. If you remember earlier, I told you that most of the time if you had to guess, you put the little number on top and the big number on the bottom. Well, with profit and loss, or cost and profit type problems, that's not necessarily true all the time. So you got to pay a little bit special attention here. But you can think about that mnemonic hook we were using, that you paid, you got to go down in your pocket, so the paid price goes in the bottom of the circle, and the made price goes on top. Now, there's another little catch to these problems too, in that, well, let's do the math first and see what happens with this. And then I'll show you what we have to do. So we take 165,000 divided by 145,000. 165 divided by 145. And that gives us 1.1379, and then it just keeps going from there. Okay? We're looking for a percentage. We convert this to a percentage, and I'm going to round this up, and I'm going to make this 114%. Okay? But when we're doing a profit and loss problem, whether we could do this one, we sold it for a profit. We could also do it where we sold it for, say, $125,000. We sold it for a loss. We have to use a plus or minus 100%. And in this case, we sold it for a profit. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to subtract 100%, and we're going to come up with a 14% profit on this particular property. You always have to come back in and use the plus and minus when you're working with a profit and loss. And when you're trying to determine the rate, it's kind of a little bit backwards maybe, but this is the way the math works. If you make a profit, you subtract 100% from it. If you had a loss here, you would actually add 100% back to your answer to get the correct answer. But in this case, we've got a 14% profit on our property. Okay, let's see what we've got next here. Another cost and selling price type of problem. Says Maria sold a rural cabin for $30,000, which allowed her to make a 20% profit. What did she pay for the property? She sold it for $30,000. She had a 20% profit. What did she pay? Okay, this will help you with that plus and minus, I think, a little bit. Take this out of here. Okay, it's a profit and loss problem, so we're going to have to work plus and minus 100%. She sold it for $30,000. So that's our top number here. What we made on the property was $30,000. We're looking for what we paid for it because she made a 20% profit. Now, since she made a 20% profit on it, we're going to plus back here 100% and make this 120% and then do our division. So we take $30,000, divided it by 120, and you can use your percent key if it's a function key, and we should come up with $25,000. And that $25,000, or that $5,000 difference is going to represent that 20% profit. Can we check that? Sure. If we take 20% of 25,000, 2 times 25 is going to be 5,000. 25,000 plus 5,000 is $30,000. So you've got to remember that plus and minus 100% to make your profit and loss problems work correctly. Then you'll be in good shape. Where are we going from here?